Hello everyone, hope you're well. This is CoinsKid. Just going to dive into XRP once again. Thank you, support. Okay, big of the CoinsKid cruise. So XRP, as anticipated, it's got that rollover. I was looking at that rollover past couple of weeks with yourselves because of the crystal ball and the fact that I thought that we was retracing basically after a 5-wave move up right there. So like I taught you, you see 5 waves up, you don't buy. And we identified that on the micro time frame. So like I said to you, if you buy in here, you're doing it wrong. A lot of negative statements, a lot of negative comments, but like I said to you, we should retrace this move. If we can hold it, fantastic. But on a lot of charts and a lot of people are not respecting this, XRP's actually lost that low from the early September right there. So structurally, it has lost that 5-wave move up. So that becomes a corrective move, not an impulsive move. So right now you are still in a thrust to the downside after a potential corrective move to the upside. So for me, I still think there's a little bit more blood, fear and depression in this market for XRP before we see that move to the upside, okay? And this is just simple data that I'm relaying to you. So way back when in 2022, I relayed to you, I'm buying XRP, I'm buying this dip, ready for the rip, and I was accumulating XRP against the blood, fear and depression. Then come early January 2023, we did something in the XRP chart that got me incredibly excited for an impulse from that point, okay? And like I said to you, I'm incredibly bullish here. I think we'll run to 82 cents. We hit the 1.618, I think it was July 2023 right there, against all odds and anticipation. We called that. It was an amazing call, and that's obviously in the past, but it was a call. We were tracing. We hit the 786 fib retracement, which was an amazing buying zone again in 2024, a year later, and then boom, we've rocketed. So far, I think we've just seen some beautiful impulsive and corrective moves, and I still think that XRP is in this corrective move, missing this, impulse to the upside. And one of the key data points I'm looking at right now is really simple. It's the same data that told me to buy in 2022. Okay, it was the drawdown on Bitcoin, the 4-year cycle theory. So like I said to you, the reason I'm bullish here for XRP is because obviously the S&P broke out, Bitcoin had finished its correction, it had its typical drawdown, which is 4-year cycle theory, bottom to bottom, peak to trough. You'd had your drawdown, so in theory the next 3 years should be positive. So in 2025, and I've been relaying this to you a very long time, I will exit my XRP position because, just respecting the theory that we come up for 3 years and down for 1, I don't want to be holding XRP in 2026 if this cycle is ringing like it's run every single time before, okay? So in theory, unless I'm mistaken, we do enter some kind of big drawdown for crypto in 2026. Typically, it should be a bloody year. Now, I'm obviously looking for the data to invalidate. One of the key things that will tell me, okay, we're not looking at that anymore, hold on for dear life because this is a new paradigm, this is a new cycle, is really simple. If we see Bitcoin print a negative return this year in 2025, if by the end of the year we see that red, it means that we're no longer respecting the 4-year cycles. So stay tuned for that. And at that point, I will actually look at XRP and we'll be in new uncharted waters going forward, okay? But what I'm looking at for XRP, I think we've come up impulsively since the bottom right there, that truncated bottom in January 2023. We've come up impulsively, correctively and impulsively again, and we're in another correction, okay? And that's my primary so far. So I think we've got another impulse missing. So one of the key things I'm looking at, either the impulse comes this year, late this year, which I think is everyone's anticipation, or we're pulling back and then we go in 2026. So one of the key clues I'm looking for that particular scenario would be if this year we do see a negative return for XRP. If we see that red, then I think 2026 could surprise everybody, okay? So let's dive into the charts right now and see what we can see. So looking at XRP on a weekly time frame at the moment, we've not created a leading diagonal scenario, but this is the support for this, okay? So a lot of people saying, talk about prices, mention prices, so I'm going to leave them in the chart for you. So for people, this is what it is, really simple. This is your high, just there, this is this local high. For XRP was put in July, I think, and at the moment what we're looking at is a retracement from this low where this high was put in, because in here we do have 5 waves. On the micro we do see 5 beautiful waves to the upside. So my primary at the moment is this low here. From this low, I think it was April, wasn't it? We come up in a 1, pull back 2, break out 3, and right now we're in a wave 4 correction, and these wave 4 corrections become complex. We've got the zigzagging wave 2, look at that, beautiful. We've come up and we've got this complex wave 4 correction that I think we're in, possibly bottomed, if not another little flush to the downside, and then turn around, okay? So how does this become a leading diagonal? So basically your impulsive wave 1 is this blue line at 265,800. If right now XRP breaks below that, then the only bullish thing you've got left is the fact that this is a leading diagonal from this low into a 1, into a pullback 2, into a 3, into a pullback 4, loses a wave 1 high, holds this neckline support and the ribbon, and then goes again in the fifth. Now that would be the better scenario, because with leading diagonals we can adhere to a trend line, okay, in the final fifth, and the fifth is always the biggest move, and we've traded this many times on XRP. So from this low in January of 2023, you've made a 1, pull back 2, broke above ribbon, pull back 4, broke out in the final fifth, and you can see your final fifth is your biggest move. Look, you've got that there, and that there. And then again, if we move to the left, we've got another leading diag that respected the neckline. Your 1 broke out, pull back into a 2, your big 3, pull back into the wave 1 high on 4, and then boom, broke out in the final fifth, and it was the biggest part of the move. And it's detectable by the neckline. So you come up and then you roll over, lose a neckline, you roll into a crash and correction, lose a neckline here, you roll into a crash and correction. So that is currently my primary outlook. But to see that, we have to see XRP break down below the leading diagonal wave 1 high to create that leading diagonal scenario. So if it fails to do that, then obviously you're going to coil up and then you'll break to the upside, and at that point you'll enter, you're in price discovery, and we can only respect Fibonacci. So there's 3 levels in the charts right now. You've got your bullish support, which is basically your wave 2 low. Regardless of anything, that is your bull market support for me, okay? And then this is your wave 3 high as a potential scenario. This is your impulsive move high, and right now you're retracing to this yellow line, okay? So if it breaks down below this wave 1 high at 265,800, it really does tick the box for a potential leading diagonal, which gives you a potential target of this neckline in Q4, okay, which is currently my primary outlook, okay. And one of the things that could be leading us down that path, really simple, is the crystal ball, global liquidity. At this point here, look at this. So we've got this correction right now that we're pulling back, and then we have that final move into Q4. This right now is where we're pulling back, and then we have a final move into Q4. So there may be a clue that is exactly what's in front of us, because of the crystal ball, based on global M2 money supply right there. But obviously we can deviate, we can roll over, we can do whatever we want, but at the minute we're respecting it, and this is why I've remained bullish on this pullback. I said to you, I'm not selling, because I think this is all corrective, and I think we've got a final fifth wave missing here. So from this low we see a 1 into a 2 into a 3 into a 4 into a 5. If we see this, boom, I'm out. Okay, I'm out the market, and I've been relaying this for a very long time. I've been buying the blood depression for a very long time on XRP, and I'll be looking to sell the top of 5 waves, which is currently my primary outlook. So I'll be out of the market. But obviously, to give us that target of this neckline, we have to see XRP draw down into the wave 1 high, which is roughly 265,800. At the moment, it's not done that. If it does it, I'll alert you, and it does increase probability of a leading diagonal, but equally it can create something a little bit more sinister, basically, where this is a 3-wave move up, and this is all a corrective move, and at that point this breaks down below the ribbon, breaks down below the neckline, and loses your bull market support, your bullish support. If we see XRP break down below 190 without taking out that high just there, it means that this was a corrective 3-wave move up. It's not an impulsive move. You're retracing, lose the low, down you go, basically. And it would indicate to me, really simple, that none of this has been impulsive. This is all corrective since this peak last year in December 2023. This is all corrective move like this. It looks something like that, towards the end of the year, leading into 2026. We bottom, and then we turn around, in late 2026. That is a possible scenario that I'm looking at, but obviously it will only come to fruition if we see right now XRP roll over, lose 190 without taking out 366. So at the moment we're caught between this level of resistance and this level of support. So anything can happen, okay? But one of the key things I look at is the data. We're looking at the crystal ball, we're looking at the the liquidity dance. So we drop that in quickly. Take a look at that. That's still trending down. Look at that. So it's still trending down. We don't see any significant turnaround in the LD at the moment. So liquidity is still flowing in and out this market, but we're not seeing this sort of ferocious move here for XRP. But if we can get this retracement, hold this wave 2 low, which is currently, with an impulsive move, correcting, coming back. I know it's going to 0. And look at it, everyone's really fearful, but look where XRP is right now. But anyway, aside from that, if it does turn around, then you're up there into Q4. And at that point, you should see liquidity dance bottom out and start to come up. If a liquidity dance starts trending up, and obviously the crystal ball starts trending down as well, then obviously we're in a world of trouble right there, and I'll relay that to you as and when it happens. But at the moment, respectfully, like I said to you, we've got a drop in liquidity dance. We're pushing up in the XRP price. Look at that, spiked up. What happened? XRP was bottoming. This is dropped. This is popped. And right now, if we do start seeing another spike up, this could be a nice little bottom for XRP, and then we start to turn around. But we want to see the LD continuing its downtrend. Really simple, okay? So the LD, liquidity dance, is just money coming in and out of the market on a daily basis. Mamas and poppers spending and taking on risk appetite, simply, okay? So what we've got, layman's terms, 1, pullback 2, 3, 4, 5. That's your bullish setup for the remainder of the year right there. And the clue may be in the LD, and obviously your crystal ball, which is still trending up, okay? And I'll drop that into the charts for you Really simple, okay? So this is one of the reasons why, for anyone paying attention, I did say to you, I do anticipate a correction, okay? Because in the crystal ball, you can see there's some kind of drawdown. Look at that, around about, I think it was September the 11th, wasn't it? We came up for a few days, look at that, right on cue, we're getting this drawdown. So we're coming back, we come back up in a lower high, and then we drop again into October, bottom out down here, find a little shakeout, pretty much like what we did last year down here as well. Look at that little shakeout, come up, shake out into October, and then boom, we break out. So we may be, and I think I've gone through this with you in a previous video, this move here, this drop may be the same as this drop that we've experienced. You come up, it's taken off in space, no it's not, rug pull, and you know, comes up, taken off space, no it's not, rug pull, one final shakeout with your drop in liquidity, and then boom, you continue the show. Because respectfully at the moment, the crystal ball is still trending up, so the overall macro trend is still liquidity flowing into this market, but it's not doing it just yet, because like I've taught you, if you take a look, liquidity is breaking out, XRP is bottoming, liquidity is breaking out, XRP is bottoming basically. So keep an eye on this. I wish I had most luck, but the crystal ball and the LD is something you can get into your charts and trading view, and equally on site as well. Just follow the process in the video, okay? The links are in the video. If you're not already in the Discord or the CoinsKid crew community, I would highly recommend getting involved. You've got so many indicators, you've got so many sections, just help you guide this crazy volatile market right there. So that is currently my primary outlook. I'll give you all the info, I'll give you all the levels. Right now you're basically caught between 366708 and the support of 190. Breakdown below that orange line changes the game completely, okay? If you're not already subscribed, please do smash the subscription button. Take care everyone, back to an update on XRP. Bye bye.